The price of Bitcoin is $66,414. It keeps rising. This is the Bitcoin 3-hour chart, and you can see we just have the strongest of strong uptrends. However, I have done something crazy. What have I done that's crazy? I've opened a short position. It could be an absolutely horrendously terrible idea, but I just can't bring myself to buy Bitcoin, and if I'm not buying it, I'm opening a low leveraged short position and hoping that it comes down a little bit so that I can buy it at a lower level. Now, Bitcoin's price today reached a previous high of $67,500. And when it reached that high of $67,000, it's likely always when you make new highs, you have a sell-off. Now, this is the sell-off so far, and this is kind of what we're looking at. We've got a $2,400 profit currently on the Bitcoin short position, and on the Coti short position, we've got a $1,072 profit. We've also got this Ethereum long position open here, and that's basically countering an Ethereum short position that I've got open, so that profit doesn't count for anything. However, the price of Bitcoin is starting its decline right now. Is it worth holding a short position, and can we expect it to drop to the downside? Well, if you want to know more about that, first of all, slap a like on this video, but next of all, trade on PHEMEX. Check it out. You'll find a link for it in today's video description. You get up to $8,800 for free for literally just clicking the link in today's video description. But when it comes to Bitcoin, why am I short right now? Because typically, if you go from a maths perspective, it always makes more sense to long highs, because every time you make a new high, you just keep making more and more new highs. That's typically how things go. It's just important to point out that Bitcoin at this moment in time, if we look at the very long-term chart, which is this one, the daily chart, you can see that basically we're re-reaching all-time highs. And when Bitcoin last reached all-time highs, last time round, we did actually get to $20,000. So the previous all-time high was up here, not that one there. Let's just zoom out a little bit. There we go. Previous all-time high here of $20,000. And if we draw a line going straight across here and look what actually happened, the first time that we actually hit that $20,000 level, we got a rejection down to $16,000. Now, if we measure that, that's actually a 20% drop off in price, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's about a 20% drop off in price. There we go. It's not focusing. Maybe it'll focus if I go like this. It doesn't matter. It's 20% drop off in price is what we experienced last time we hit a high, and then we retraced, and then we pumped back up, we got rejected again, and then we had this almighty bull run. This part is yet to come. We've not experienced this part yet. Currently, we're still stuck in post-bear market limbo. This period of time here is the exact same as this period of time here, where we had that first run up and everyone's getting excited, and no one really expected to smash through $20,000, but we did, and it didn't actually take that long. Again, because if we zoom back in on the old Bitcoin chart here, and it says actually how long did it take to break through that level, it really wasn't that long a period of time. If you think from when we first hit the high to when we actually broke through the high, it was a period of time lasting 22 days. Now, actually, if we're to calculate right now, when the Bitcoin halving is going to take place, this is where it gets quite interesting. We've got 44 days until Bitcoin halving takes place. Where does 44 days put us on this chart, and what could that look like over the period of the next 44 days? So from here to about there, that's 46 days, is that? But basically, it's a very small period of time in the overarching chart that we've got here. It would just be weird at this point in time from my perspective if Bitcoin were to continue pumping. And I think a lot of the volume is going to switch towards the altcoin market. I'm not saying that I'm bearish on Bitcoin. I'm really not. I'm very, very bullish on Bitcoin right now. In fact, I've got my Bitcoin mug here on my desk. And if you want one of these Bitcoin mugs, it's got a Crypto Saving Expert logo on one side and a Bitcoin logo on the other one, go to cryptosavingexpert.shop. You'll find those mugs for sale on there. It's worthwhile getting one. You can drink your Bitcoin every morning. Anyway, drink the Kool-Aid, that's what you should say. Point is, Bitcoin looks high. 44 days takes us to Bitcoin halving. Ultimately, the ETF flows right now are proving very bullish for the price of Bitcoin. And I think the altcoin market is going to be the next thing that goes. In terms of different altcoins that I expect are going to pump, I'm going to discuss some of those on tonight's live stream that you'll find on the main channel, That Martini Guy, not TMG Trades. So check that out when I go live. It'll probably be somewhere around 8 p.m. UK time. Before then, this has been doing really well, and I expect this is going to keep doing really well because there are some major improvements coming to Humans. Humans is about to enter into the top 200 in the next few days, I expect. This market market cap here of $165,000, million dollars, sorry, not 1,000, is going to probably increase to around $500 million in the not too distant future. I'm very bullish on this particular coin here. The other things that I'm bullish on, well, if you want to know more about that, make sure you're following tonight's live stream on the main channel, and make sure you slap a like on this video, because no one likes videos anymore. And subscribe, honestly. You will miss so much alpha if you're not subscribed to this channel, because this is the channel, when I have a thought, I post it to this channel without bothering to edit it. And so it's basically my unedited thoughts that go on this channel. In terms of how Ethereum's performing, very much similar to Bitcoin, just a straight line to the moon. It has to calm down at some stage. So what we need to be looking for at this moment in time are support levels that if we lose them, then we can expect a significant move to the downside. Now, this formation here is kind of like a bump and run formation, where you've got your bump and it just keeps bumping and bumping. At some point, it's going to run, and we're looking for a break of the downside. Now, there's two downside levels that we'll break on Ethereum when we start heading to the downside. The first one will be the level of about $3,500. The level of $3,500, then we lose that level, and if we lose the level here of 3,400, well, that's when we end up with one of these big spiky type wicks. I just don't think we're that far away from a big old downside. And I think the entire market needs a bit of a reset. The reason that I say that is because of, we can first of all look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map and assess where all of that leverage is sitting in the charts right now. Because if we look at this chart, it gives us a very accurate display of the reason why we're going to go down to about $64,000, because of all those positions that are going to get liquidated if we keep trending to the downside. Now, that would be a pretty significant drop off for Bitcoin, but that would also change the sentiment in the market. Now, the sentiment in the market right now is one of extreme greed. I would bring up the chart, but it's not on the screen right here, and I've not loaded it before I made the video, so you're not going to get that in today's video. But there is one more chart that I can show you, which is the funding rates for Bitcoin right now. Where you see red on this chart, that means it costs a lot of money to go long. So it's very expensive to be long right now. Currently, Bitcoin's funding rate on Binance over an 8-hour period is 0.06%. And across the board, it's really expensive to be longing Bitcoin. At the same time, it's also, you're getting paid a lot of money to short Bitcoin at the same time. So people will start considering these short positions. If you look at what that is as an annualized interest rate, you're paying 66% of the value of your position to short on Binance, 93% to short on Bybit, 107% to short on CoinEx, and it's all very similar again on PHEMEX, where the funding rate is 0.917%. It's very expensive to be long on Bitcoin right now. And this will put people off going long, because every few hours, or every 8 hours, sorry, you lose money out of your position because you're getting taxed because of the interest rate fee that applies to derivative trades. So from that perspective as well, it looks like it should head to the downside a little bit, like everything just looks overcooked. But at the same time as saying all this, Bitcoin can stay completely ignorant of the facts for a very long period of time. And it tends to do that. It tends to take everybody's money and then do the thing that you knew it was going to do anyway. So we know that a dump is coming. It's no question of whether a dump is coming. It's a question of, is it going to shoot to the moon first and then dump? Because that is always the more likely thing in Bitcoin. Or is this the shoot to the moon and we're going to dump now? It's just such a difficult one to call. So I'm in this small short position. If you are interested in trading, check out the link for PHEMEX in today's video description. You can trade on PHEMEX in the UK and many other European countries that have been locked out of Bybit recently, so do check that out. It's a great exchange platform, and it's my main exchange platform these days, so do check it out. Anything else to discuss in today's video? Well, there is altcoins and news and just so many different things that we could be discussing right now. I'm going to load up a tab here for Crypto Saving Expert and show you today's news, because there's been a lot of things going on in the news recently. And I think it's just important to cover some of it. So first things first, in today's news, we're going to look at the headlines and only the headlines today. Bitcoin's market cap reaches an all-time high. That's good news again. It's actually reached an all-time high in euros as well. 70% of stable coins are in circulation, USDT. Pepe, Doge, and SHIB take the market because meme coins have been pumping recently. Node Monkeys becomes the third highest value profile picture collection, which is pretty impressive because that is a Bitcoin ordinal. And if I don't know if you know already, but basically I bought a bunch of Bitcoin punks. You can check them out. They're pretty cheap now compared to what they were. But I've bought Bitcoin punks because I think they'll do quite well in the next bull market. Cryptocurrency industry approaches $2.5 trillion market cap. I mean, all of these bullish things, all of these bullish headlines with not a bearish headline in sight, typically it's a good time to be shorting, because when everyone is on the same page, the page turns. That's just generally what happens. And I don't mean to, I don't want the market to go down. I really don't, because my altcoin portfolio has been on fire. But I can tell you today, my altcoin portfolio took a bit of a dive, and I've not been enjoying that. At the same time, Bitcoin has been pumping. Bitcoin is starting to suck some of that liquidity from altcoins, but also altcoin sentiment has changed. Slightly more bearish, I think, for the short term. But we're going to see that could change again. And from my perspective, you're always better off just continually buying the dip on altcoins. So if altcoins drop 10% in a day, buy a little bit more. If it drops another 10%, buy a little bit more, because one day it'll just pop like 70% in one day, and that's the way that altcoins work. So on that note, slap a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, watch my live stream this evening, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Goodbye.